Something about reading is just really soothing all of our souls. I think it's just a fun escape from the hard parts of reality. Hello, my loves, and welcome back to my channel. As always, I am so grateful that you are here. Today, I am bringing you along with me because I'm actually a little sad. It's July 3rd, and we usually go to Steven's family's cabin for 4th of July, and Steven and Arlo are actually there right now. They left this morning, but Luna has just been feeling a little under the weather. Whenever she's congested, she does not sleep, which makes sense. She has tiny sinuses, and if she has my sinuses, they're not the best, unfortunately, and it's just really hard for her to sleep. Anyways, the cabin, you can hear everything, so we didn't want to wake everyone up the whole weekend, so we might join them tomorrow. I'm kind of sad because I really enjoy going to the cabin for the holidays, especially 4th of July and Labor Day. But that's okay. We're going to make the most of this because this is actually turning out to be a very cozy July day. Even though it's high 90s outside, there's an isolated thunderstorm happening right now. I kept hearing the sound. I'm like, is that thunder? It didn't look like it was about to storm, but popped up out of nowhere. We're going to embrace the coziness. I always joke that Luna and I are burr girls, September, October, November, December, the burrs. It's a whole vibe. Her birthday is September 13th. My birthday is October 26th. So I just joke that we are burr girls at heart and we love all things cozy, a little bit spooky. And we're going to go do some things that really make us happy or make me happy. And I'm going to bring her along with me. She's happy if she's with me at this stage. And I have 2 gift cards to Barnes & Noble that I've had for way too long. Way too long. They've been burning a hole in my wallet, and I have so many books that I want to get. So we're going to go to Barnes & Noble, walk around for as long as Luna will let me. I think I'm going to carry her because sometimes she doesn't always love her stroller. I might bring both just in case. And then Barnes & Noble is right next to At Home. So we're going to go check out what they have for Halloween stuff. I know it's July 3rd. I know. And I'm actually really in the 4th of July mood this year. I just made a American flag fruit pizza, which I freaking love fruit pizza. We did a bunch of other 4th of July stuff. I just was feeling it this year. You guys know Halloween is my favorite, but I was really, oh, do you hear that? Cozy, vibey. I love a good thunderstorm. Anyways, I was really feeling the 4th of July themes. Luna's excited to go. I really was feeling the 4th of July themes, and I'm trying to embrace summer and romanticize summer and eat watermelon and go outside at night. So I was actually really looking forward to this weekend, but you know what? We're going to make the most of it. I like to flow with the river. The universe wanted us to stay home for at least a day. Like I said, we might go out tomorrow. So let's go to Barnes & Noble and At Home and have ourselves a nice little cozy day for the burr girls. And you guys are going to come along with us. Because I know everyone out there is craving that cozy content as we're in the middle of summer. I have such a dilemma because I'm all about being present over here. I know that being present is the key to living a fulfilling and aligning life. And I also love fall and Halloween and spooky stuff and cozy stuff so much. But you can really be cozy all year long. That's a mindset, right? Anyways, Luna's ready to go, as you can hear. So let's go to Barnes & Noble. Also, I just want to show you, I put on this necklace, which I'm sure Luna's going to grab here in a second. It has the little moons and stars, and it's a book that actually opens. Let me see if I can do it. It's a little book that opens. So cute. So, how perfect for Barnes & Noble. And a little witchy. All the things. All the things we love over here. Ow, ow, ow. thought this microphone was broken, but I don't think it is. It just has a crisper sound, even though sometimes I just record on my phone and use that audio because, life. All right. I am very excited about the books that I got at Barnes & Noble. I didn't spend any money because I had 2 gift cards and one had like way more money on it than I thought. It was from Christmas. I think my cousin got it for me. She got a SAT and then a gift card to like Culver's or something to have like a family outing, which I think is the cutest idea. Did I just spend that gift card on myself? Yes, but there's some money left. So I'm going to take the kids back and we are going to have a little family date at Barnes & Noble because I love the idea of that, even though it also sounds chaotic with my toddler. But I found out today that they have story time, at least at our Barnes & Noble, on Wednesdays at 10:30. That time may not work this summer, but I feel like once Arlo's back in school, he goes to school in the afternoon, we might be able to do that and then go to school. I just love the idea of that. Will it actually happen? I don't know. Also, when I was checking out, the cashier was like, oh my goodness, you're going to love these books. It just feels like a good omen. They know which books are good. They see what books people are buying. And of course, they probably read a bunch of them, which working at Barnes & Noble, low-key sounds super fun. And we were just talking about how like her daughter was a Barnes & Noble kid and she grew up to be a journalist. And obviously I'm not a journalist or anything like that. I am here on YouTube and I do like to read. Anyways, I feel like I was a Barnes & Noble kid. My parents took me to Barnes & Noble all the time, especially after dinner. We would like go out to eat and then like go to Barnes & Noble for hours. Like that was our Friday evening and I loved it. I had so many fond memories of just like wandering the aisles at Barnes & Noble and the smell is unmatched. I wish there was a Barnes & Noble candle. Maybe there is. So I'm going to show you the books that I got in order. I have been obsessed with watching other people's TBR videos, like what they're planning to read or their book review videos. I sometimes almost like watching those more than reading the books themselves. That's not necessarily true. I've definitely slowed down with my reading, but I will say this year I've read more books than I have in any other year. I am not the type of person that reads like 6 or 7 or 9 books a month. I typically read maybe like 1 book a month. I did have a few months this year so far where I read 3. And what's really helped me is listening to books. I don't know what took me so long. I was listening to nonfiction books, like parenting books all the time. But this year I started listening to my fiction reads while I was rocking Luna or when she would get up in the middle of the night, especially through like the 4-month sleep progression. Literally saved my life. Like listening to books is such a game changer. And it definitely depends on the book. Like some books, I like to just listen to them. Some books, I don't like the audiobook at all. I want to read it. And some books, I like to do, I think what they call immersive reading, which is read and listen to it at the same time. Honestly, it's a vibe. I'm doing that with the book I'm reading right now, which I will show to you later. I've just read so many different types of books. That is my taste. It's kind of all over the place. I really like books that make you think about life, make you think deeply. It's the Scorpio in me. I'm a deep thinker. I'm always looking for like the underlying meaning of things, like the meaning of life. What is the meaning of life? And like, why are we all here? I love books that just make me think differently about the world and like kind of make my brain hurt in a good way or just like make me think differently. That is my favorite type of book. But today I was looking for just some really good cozy summary books. And what's interesting is all my books kind of have the same color. My mom and I noticed we used to do that all the time when we went to Target. We would always end up subconsciously picking a cart with all the same color. And I did that today, except for the last book. So anyways, with all that being said, let me show you which books I got. The first one is Every Summer After by Carly Fortune. I've seen the other 2 books in this series a lot recently. And last summer, actually, when I was on vacation with my sister-in-law, she was reading the next one in this series called One Golden Summer, I believe, and she said it was really good. I just feel like I've heard a lot about this series, and somehow the theme of this year has been reading books that are now turned into movies. Like I started with Project Hail Mary, Remarkably Bright Creatures, People You Meet on Vacation. I've really been motivated by reading the book and then watching it. I have a theory that you like whichever form of media you consumed first. Like if you watch the movie first, then you like that better, or if you read the book first, you like that better. But typically, most of the time, the book is always better. But just been kind of fun to read them and then watch them. And this is now on Prime. I think it's a series, and this looks like a series that my husband would really like to watch with me. He's not a book reader, but he is a watcher. He loves shows and movies, so I feel like it'd be fun to read this and then watch it with him. And I just want a fun summer romance, like kind of lighthearted. I've kind of been over romantasy, but I have been into just like contemporary romance, just like a regular old romance. And summertime just feels like a time to read about summer romances. Like it just feels like a romantic time of the year. So even though I just said I love books that like make me think, I don't think this is gonna like break my brain by any means, but I do enjoy a good like palate cleanser. The book I'm reading right now, which again I'll show you later, is dense. Like you really have to pay attention and kind of focus because all these stories connect. So I'm looking forward to a book that I can kind of like zone out a little bit, read and listen to, and not have to like pay attention to every single word, but still enjoy it. And I feel like this book is going to be that. And I want to read the rest of the books in this series. The one that came out this year, the cover looks so pretty. It's like my favorite color, purple, called The Perfect Storm or something like that. So who knows? Maybe I'll read this and love it so much I'll read the next 3 this summer. The next one that I picked, I've had my eye on for a while and I absolutely love this author. I've only read one of his fiction books and one of his nonfiction, but they're 2 of my favorite books. And something about the way he writes just really speaks to my soul. And that is The Life Impossible by Matthew Haig. I should really look up how to pronounce that. I just love his writing. I love his brain. I love the way he explains things. I love the deep themes of his books, The Midnight Library. Maybe some people think it's overhyped. I must have read that at like the perfect timing in my life when I was like just going through things and transitions, and it just hit deep. As I've said many times, I'm a deep thinker, like searching for the meaning of life, and that book just I don't know. It just was so good. I was like, everyone on this planet needs to read that book, which is not true because not everyone's going to have the same experience that I did. But I love how it combined like spiritual topics, and he even mentioned like quantum physics and parallel realities. That is one of my favorite, I guess you could say, tropes or themes or things that happens in a book when there's like parallel realities or quantum jumps or timeline crossovers. And I feel like a few, maybe all of these books have that in them. So that is obviously what I'm drawn to. I love trippy books. Anyways, this is about I think it's a retired math teacher. Yeah, so a retired math teacher inherits a house in the Mediterranean by Ibiza. So it sounds super summery. I feel like the themes of his books are just they just hit deep. Like they just, I don't know, are soothing to my soul. And it really is like the best of both worlds when you're being entertained by a story. Because I used to read so much nonfiction. That was really the start of my reading journey, like getting back into reading. Because haven't we all like recently gotten back into reading after like being forced to read for school, and then we probably all took a giant break. And now we're getting back into reading as we're like rebalancing our nervous systems and slowing down. Anyways, I used to be a big nonfiction girly, like spiritual books, woo-woo books. I just got a little burnout on those. Like you can only read so many of those without like feeling like you're getting the same thing over and over again. But if you give me like an interesting story intertwined with some like spiritual lessons and some deep thinking, I'm here for that. So this is perfect for summer. Very excited to read that. And that's not the last Matt Haig book that I got. But the next one I've seen a lot of people talk about. And after hearing the description, it just feels like such a fun read for me and very nostalgic. And it feels like a summer read. And that is Into the Blue by Emma Brody. So from what I know about this book, it's like over the time span of a few decades maybe, but it's over like a few years for sure. But they meet at like a movie store, I think, and he comes from a family of actors, and she's like trying to get into the writing business. They work at a video store, and I think it's set in like the 2000s. Maybe it starts in the 90s and then the 2000s. I don't know. It's somewhere around there. So I'm very excited for the nostalgia. And they just kind of had this intertwining love story that somehow I think ends up into some kind of timeline jumping. Maybe I heard that somewhere. Maybe that's not true, but I've heard really good things about it. I don't know. Something about the cover really speaks to me too. I love the colors and even like the inside. You guys know I love space, which I don't think it's about space, but I feel like it has. I've heard the ending is really good, and I feel like the ending is really going to connect to like traveling through space time or something. So this may be the first one I read. I don't know, either this one or Every Summer After. Let me know in the comments which one should I read next. And then the last book I got really messed up my color scheme because all of these books have like blues and purples and very summery. I guess it does have like a blue, like a teal. But it's The Midnight Train by Matt Haig. It was on sale and it was right next to Into the Blue. And I was like, you know what? I'm really in a Matt Haig mood. I love his books. So I just feel like it's going to be a good time. This one is about, I think, a couple that's on their honeymoon and then they go on a train that like takes them through their life. He gets to like relive some of the most important moments and like talk about if he has regrets or if he would do those things differently, which again, these are all very like human themes. I bet every single person on this planet looks back at parts of their life and like ponders like, what if I would have done that differently? What would have happened? I know I do. Would I go back and actually change anything? No, because I know that would change everything else and I wouldn't be where I'm at now with my 2 children that I love and my husband that I adore. But like, I'm a human too. Something that I really think about is I really wish I would have started my YouTube channel right when I moved to Arizona, just because I wish I had those years documented because that was such a pivotal time in my life. But you know, if I would have done that, I would have taken a completely different path. And again, I wouldn't be where I am now with the family that I adore and all the beautiful gifts in my life. So all that being said, I feel like I'm going to just like eat up those Matt Haig books and I'm very excited to read them. I don't know, something about reading is just really soothing all of our souls. I think it's just a fun escape from like the hard parts of reality, not only on like a macro scale, but on a micro scale. We all have our own struggles. There's always crazy things going on in the world, and how magical that we can like escape for a little bit into these books and ponder some deep life themes. That's what I like to do. So let me know if you're interested in a video where I share some of my favorite books, or maybe I'll share what I thought of these books. I don't read enough to do like a monthly review because I read like 1 to 2 books a month, but maybe I can like fit them into other blogs because I do love hearing other people talk about what they thought of the books that they read and which books they plan on reading. So let's continue on with our cozy day because now that Luna is asleep, I thought I messed up. She fell asleep in the car on the way home. I planned on going to At Home because it was right next to Barnes & Noble and she was losing it. I was like, you know what? We have no plans after her second nap and it's like 10 minutes from our house. So might as well just go back. So we are going to do that later. And there's a Goodwill right next door. So that's how we're going to spend our afternoon doing things that we love. But as she's napping, I am going to work for a little bit on my computer. I have a travel vlog that I'm trying to get out in the next week. I've really taken this like last month off and it's been enlightening for my soul. Every time I take a break, I'm like, I miss it so much, even though sometimes I need the break. I'm like jumping at the bit to get back into it. So I'm going to work for a little bit on that vlog, maybe read a little bit. I did stop and get an iced coffee and it is hitting so hard. Something about an iced coffee is so nostalgic for me back to my Arizona days. But anyways, I'm going to stop yapping. I just share all the things sometimes and my train of thought is like all over the map. So with all that being said, let's go do some more cozy things. Also, I forgot to mention that my husband got me one of these book embossers, I think it's called, for Mother's Day. And it says like from Lindsay's library and it has moons on it. Obsessed. I've only embossed like a few books, so might as well do that with my new books, right? In case I lend them out to someone else, or even if you donate them. I love when I buy books from the thrift store and I can like see who owned them before me. Maybe there's like a note written in there, or I haven't bought one yet that has one of these in it, but that would be so cool to find one like that. So let's emboss some books real quick. The book I'm currently reading is The Northwoods, and this has been so interesting. Very different than anything else I've read this year. That's truly been the theme this year, is everything I've read has been different, and it's been nice. Like, I just needed to mix up my genres a little bit. I actually got this from my cousin. She gives me some of her old books when she's done. So shout out to Sean. She's the true MVP of this vlog because she's the one that gave us the Barnes & Noble gift card, and she gives me all of her old books. So I'm very grateful for you. But this is definitely a book that I have to listen to and read because I'm not an English major by any means. I actually had to go to like remedial reading classes growing up. Like, reading is not my strong suit, even though I love to do it. I love to be immersed in the magical worlds. But this is like a more intense read in terms that like all these stories are connected. So what it's about, I don't even think I told you that. It's about this plot of land in Massachusetts, and it tells the story of like the different people that have lived there, the succession of people that have lived in this area of land, this forest, all the way from like pre-revolutionary times, Puritan times, to I believe it goes all the way to present day. My cousin said she didn't love the ending, so I'm interested to see the ending, and if I'm still doing this vlog, when I finish it, I will make sure to share the ending. But what I love about it, and what also makes it a little bit more challenging to read, is all these stories connect ever so slightly. So you really have to pay attention to like every single sentence and every single word. And I love the way that they read it. Not only do they have multiple narrators, like if there's a book with multiple narrators in the audio version, I'm going to choose that because that just really brings the story to life. But yeah, it's just a denser read and a more complex read, and that's what makes it so interesting and beautiful, is all these stories are interconnected, and it really makes you think about like the succession of life and how life is all interconnected and how things continue on even when you're gone. Like, they've told so many stories of the people that lived on this land and the animals that live on this land. It's just a very unique read. I don't think I've read anything quite like this before. It kind of feels like a book that maybe would have been forced to read in high school, but now that I have like life experience and appreciation, like I enjoy it more now. I don't know if that's really selling you on reading the book. But if you like being outside, if you like history, if you like real people's stories, because there's so many different stories in this, like truly the main character in this book is the land. I'm going to spend some time before Luna wakes up reading a little bit more of this. And like I said, I'm going to try to finish this either today or tomorrow, mainly because I want to know how it ends, obviously, and I want to get to my other books that I bought today, obviously. One more thing about this book that I feel like really fits the theme of this video, it also has ghosts. There are ghosts from previous people that lived on this land that keep showing up in the following stories, and that just adds like a fun, spooky, paranormal, woo-woo perspective that I like to the story. I am all snuggled up for the night, and my plan was to read more of Northwoods. Even though I talk about being like a spooky girl over here, I like the playful spooky. I like the magical spooky, not like this scary spooky, if that makes sense. And definitely not true crime. And this is getting to like a true crime part, and I'm here by myself tonight, and I just don't know if that's the vibe because I'm not trying to freak myself out. I also have Into the Blue over here ready to go if I need some different vibes for tonight. But if you watched to this point, thank you so much for joining me for a cozy summer day. This was so fun to record and share with all of you, and I also just love having these memories documented for myself to go back and look at different seasons of my life. That is such a fun part of this. But leave a comment down below if you're still watching. What books are you reading in this season? What are you loving? Give me all your recommendations, especially if you feel like we have similar taste. But I'm also looking for new reads all the time. So give me all of your book recommendations. If there's anything in the video that you related to or are going through as well, let me know. I love talking about any and all of these things with basically anyone that wants to talk about these things. Also, this is random, but I was thinking about this. I went through this whole day, and I didn't plan this either, without spending any money. Granted, I did have 2 gift certificates to Barnes & Noble, and that was really nice. And I already had money like preloaded on my Starbucks card. So I don't know if you count that or not, but I didn't like run my credit card to buy the Starbucks. So I'm pretty proud of that. And I went to at home and didn't buy anything. I just like to go and absorb the vibes of the Halloween decorations. Rarely do I get new Halloween decorations, maybe like 1 or 2 a year, but I just like the vibes, and I just want to normalize that. Like, you can go and look at things and not buy them and still get happiness and joy from that. If you're new here, please subscribe. I have new videos sometimes every week, sometimes every few weeks. It's hard to say, and they are quite a hodgepodge, but we're always discussing what it means to live an aligning, fulfilling, and present life, because I think that is just so important to find things that align with you, that speak with you, connecting to your intuition, finding presence in each season, just like my favorite topics ever. So if you're into that, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button if you like the video. I so appreciate your support, and I'm sending you all so much love, all the highest vibes, and of course I will see you in the next video.